The Mint Million is a grade three. It's the eighth race on the Saturday card at Kentucky Downs, and it is part of a couple of different rolling pick fives, part of the all stakes, six all stakes in a row at Kentucky Downs. It's running a mile on the turf for 3 year olds and up. And this is an interesting race for a lot of reasons. We've got the perennial, excuse me, grade three contender, Emmanuel. Nothing says grade three like Emmanuel on the turf. For Aiden O'Brien, Mountain Bear, we might remember from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf last year, got a good second. Irish Aces, who's been, for Brendan Walsh, he's been a pretty hard knocker. Uh, then we've got Strong Quality, perennial front runner. Fantastic again for Wesley Ward, who is looking to step up a little bit. Talk of the Nation and Ancient Rome from the Arlington Million both ran, I thought, credible races there pretty well. Reckoning Force, who's a late runner, just ran a really big one last time in an optional claimer. And then Goliad for Richard Mandela coming into this race. Second start at Kentucky Downs on very short rest, and that is highly unusual for Dick Mandela, to be sure. Um, You'll note here I've put plus signs by all the horses who are coming back on very short race. Goliad and Cash Equity in that ran last week in a race, and Irish Aces ran in a short was coming back on short rest as well. So those three are all ran well, and so really no surprise. Want to take advantage of those big purses at Kentucky Downs. I've put Goliad in red because, as you note, we've got a lot of early speed in this race, and Goliad, without a doubt, is going to be the speed of the speed. This horse always runs, basically only has one way to go, runs pretty quick fractions, usually like 22 and 45, 46, somewhere in there on the turf. This is a horse who wins quite a bit out west. Interesting to note, the race at Kentucky Downs, one of the advantages that I think he had last time was, first of all, he was uncontested. Nobody went to get him at all, so it was pretty easy to walk home. Secondly, in the first fraction, I think it was 23 and change, which is pretty slow for Goliad. So he was able to get a breather, and again, didn't get a lot of pressure early on, and I think that sealed the victory here. Now, when you've got Strong Quality, Touch Revenge, and Talk of the Nation all in this race, and then you've got early pressers like Irish Aces and Fantastic. Again, highly doubt that Goliad's going to be able to get on a really safe lead uncontested. And that with the short rest, I'm going to toss him. He'll be the speed without a doubt. I just can't see him sticking around late, not with this amount of pressure. And it is a bit of a class hike as well when you consider some of the other horses who were more stakes tested at higher graded levels than grade three. So to me, Goliad's a speed factor, and that alone. Talk of the Nation, I thought, ran a good Arlington Million, and this is a hard knocker, pretty logical for Todd Pletcher. I think this one doesn't need the lead. We know that, can rate, and I think that's a good thing for this race. Taking a little bit of a dip in class, I'd say, from what he normally runs at, and I think he'll factor in this race. And I have some reservations as to whether he has the top end to take this one down, but I think is one you can certainly include in your exotics without a doubt. Irish Aces ran a really good race, one of his best, coming off the bench last time, and certainly is going to be in good form. Is in good form. This horse has had it's been a little hard to trust. Has quite a few races, hasn't quite done as well as expected. And now moving up into graded stakes, that always gives me a bit of reservation. But is clearly coming into the race in good form. And if moves forward from that, could certainly factor in this race. At 12 to 1, you're getting a nice price. But I think underneath is probably more likely for Irish Aces. And that's where I intend to use them. Fantastic, again, is coming in off a pretty substantial layup for Wesley Ward. And I really liked his last race. He was full of run. And I think this is a horse that has shown progressive improvement. And I really like in this spot. I think we'll rate off the front runners and showed a lot of grit to me. and needs to take a little bit of maybe a half step forward, but I think it's entirely possible. And 5 to 1, great price. I'm taking Fantastic again in this race for sure. My pick in this race is the champ, the return to champ, Ancient Rome. Um, Familiarity over Kentucky Downs is always good, especially for Europeans. They always have an edge because it's the type of track that they're used to. Ancient Rome won a really good race last year and won pretty convincingly and has had good form this year. The Arlington Million was a little unlucky in the stretch, kind of got shut off a little bit, but rallied anyway and ran what I thought was a very nice race. So I think Ancient Rome is very logical coming this race in pretty good form. Frankie Dettori in the irons. Don't like taking a favor to Kentucky Downs, but I think this one is very deserving, and I'll take on top. Mountain Bear had that great second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and has been facing some pretty good company. Ran in the 1,000 Guineas, but is a little mercurial. This horse's last race at Leopardstown had a really good finishing kick. To get was kind of unlucky. Maybe it was timed a little late, but did get up for second. I fully expect for Aidan O'Brien, this horse is going to run just fine. Incidentally, I'm sorry, Ancient Rome's trained by Charlie Hills. Sorry about that. But Mountain Bear, I think, is very logical in this spot as a closer. Cash Equity coming in off short rest is a little. I don't know if I trust enough. I don't think has the top end to get the job done. And incidentally, I'll mention Emmanuel, who is, the grade 3, a prolific grade 3 performer. But the thing is, he just ran his biggest race last time, and you'll note that he was sold right afterwards for 500,000, and I have to believe he was really tuned up for that race. Ran huge, and I have a feeling there might be a little bit of a regression here. And this one, given some of the performers in here, this might be tuned up from a grade 3, maybe a little, like let's call it a grade 2.5. So from that perspective, as we know with Emmanuel, usually when he steps up in class, it usually doesn't come out terribly well for him. So from that perspective, I'm going to let Emmanuel go with Mike Maker, new trainer, and he's certainly capable of getting a horse ready. But for those reasons, I'm going to pass on Emmanuel on this one. So we take a look at our wagering strategy. We're going to go with Ancient Rome on top. Hopefully the price won't be too terribly short. I don't think it will be, given the likes of Fantastic again and Talk of the Nation, as well as Mountain Bear in this one. But we'll go with Ancient Rome to win. Then we're going to do a cold 10-7 exacta. I like Fantastic again a lot here, and I think is my second choice. Then we'll do cold exactas with Mountain Bear as well as Talk of the Nation. Then we're going to box Fantastic again in Ancient Rome, as well as Ancient Rome and Mountain Bear. Then we'll key box with Ancient Rome on top with 2, 7, and 8. And that, if we get Ancient Rome on top, then we have the potential to win 3 different ways. So I like Ancient Rome a lot. I think that's max out our ROI there. And I don't like doing trifectas at Kentucky Downs, but I think this is a race that we can. And the main reason is all those horses coming in off short rest. I don't think, I think it's easier to discount them. And so that in the race shape. So let's go with a trifecta. We're going to key Ancient Rome, and we'll put 2, 3, 7, 8 underneath. And hopefully, if we get Ancient Rome home, we're going to have a nice payday. Fingers crossed. So I hope this helps you with your own wagering strategy. Wish you the best of luck as always. And we'll have more posting from Kentucky Downs, all the stakes races. And if we find a favorable pick 5 amongst the many that are on the card, we'll throw in something for that as well. So that's it from here. Talk to you soon. And until then, be well.